Tick tock. We are counting down to the Iowa caucuses. That means we're seeing a lot of the candidates right now here in our great state. And one of them is in studio with us right now. That is Senator Rick Santorum. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Simon. How are you? It's good to be back.
I'm living the dream. Absolutely living the dream.
So am I.
Every day. Let me ask you about that. I'm detecting a slight difference in campaigning from you this time. I mean, you've certainly been here a lot, but it's not like it was 4 years ago.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I'm probably going to be here between now and the end of the month, just about every day but 4. How's that? So, I mean, 4 or 5. I think we'll be in South Carolina for the debate. I think there's an event in New Hampshire I'm going to. I'll stop by and do my laundry at home, and then get back out here to Iowa.
Okay. Well, I guess we can maintain your honorary Iowan status.
Absolutely. Well, I've already I've already done all 99 counties. We've done. I think we're closing in about 300 meetings. So we've been working hard, and we're going to continue. One of the things I've been calling people. Obviously, I'm going to a house party tonight here in Des Moines, and just try to remind Iowans, your job as Iowans, and you've done it well, and I mean that in all sincerity, is not to look at what everybody else thinks, but do your own homework and make your own decision. You get the chance to be first, which means you get the chance to recommend to everybody who you believe is the best candidate for president. Not who's raised the most money, not who's the most endorsements, not who's got the highest poll numbers, but who you, through your work and meeting and talking and listening to these candidates, who you believe you can recommend. Because let me assure you, because having run in 30 states for president, no state will spend more time, no group of people in a state will spend more time in analyzing these issues and getting a chance to know the candidates better than the folks here. And so I think you need to take that responsibility seriously.
I think Iowans do. I really do. I think we maintain that first in the nation status for a reason, because we do it very well. I did have Governor Huckabee on about an hour ago, and I asked him this same question. Yeah. Because and normally I don't do this. Normally I want to stick on the issues. But there is this one little detour that we're going to take today about other candidates. Because Ted Cruz, a couple of days ago, came out and said, hey, don't split the conservative vote and let the moderate through the middle like we've done before. So you rightly point out you've been down this road before. Is he looking at some internal polling, do you think, that's have him a little bit worried maybe?
Well, all I can say is that when you start using reasons other than I'm the best candidate to vote for me, then there might be some chinks in the armor. And look, I'm very proud of the conservative record I put together. There's no one that's fought more on moral and cultural issues. I'm not a libertarian. Now, there are people in this race that want the states to decide whether there should be same-sex marriage or polygamy or marijuana use. I don't believe that. I don't believe that the states have the right to redefine something that is not capable of redefining. It's, for me, when you say the states have the right to define marriage, it's like saying, well, the states have the right to redefine the chemical equation for water. It can be H3O instead of H2O. Well, the states can't do that. Why? Because nature dictates what water is. Okay. Nature dictates what marriage is, and the states don't have the right to violate what nature has dictated. Well,
you and I don't agree on this particular issue. We talked about it last time you were here, so I don't want to go over that old ground. And my basic premise is that we keep government out of it, and I kind of got you to admit that you were married when you kissed the bride and not when you filled out the government paperwork, if you remember.
I do remember.
Excellent. Good. So we've done that. We're not going to go over that ground again. Let's talk a little North Korea right now. They certainly had some kind of nuclear explosion this week, whether it was hydrogen or otherwise. I don't actually think is particularly relevant, to be honest with you, Senator. Should we care? I mean, they don't want to die. This is the difference between them and Iran, right? The North Koreans don't want to die, so they're just flexing muscles. They're not going to use it.
I agree with that to a great degree. I think what we have to do, though, is recognize that the leader of North Korea is a alcoholic sociopath. And anyone who's known someone who has alcoholism or known someone who has sociopathic tendencies realizes that they can do irrational things. One of the things that we could count on with the Chinese and the Russians was that they were rational actors. and that they were not folks who were like Iran and ISIS, who are more concerned about the hereafter than they are about the here and now and about the world.
I want to. I'm trying to separate North Korea from Iran
and
because
it's a legitimate.
I do think they're different.
Absolutely, and I've said this, and I believe this, that we should be more concerned about Iran having a nuclear weapon than North Korea. But the only caveat there is North Korea is run by a alcoholic sociopath who could have a bender one night and say some pretty crazy things, and you never know what could happen. So
you think he might be coked up and boozed up one night and say, "I wonder what happens if I push this button"?
Do you know what? I hate to say. I know that sounds.
That's more scary.
It is a little bit more scary. That's why I think we have to look at having giving South Korea a missile defense system, which we have not done, so we can counteract any kind of ballistic missile attack that the North Koreans are contemplating. And then plus we have to look at our own missile defense systems here within this country. You have to be prudent when it comes to these actors on the world stage that are not predictable.
And certainly he's not predictable, but I still think he doesn't want to die.
I agree. No, I like I said, I am more concerned about it with Iran and the fact that President Obama has now put Iran on a path to a nuclear weapon. They have an apocalyptic view of what they want. They are a state that wants to bring about the end of time so their religious figure can come back and rule the world. That's what they believe. And we should not be giving that country the opportunity to bring about the end of times by causing Armageddon.
Yeah, North Korea, Kim Jong-un would never be that drunk to push that button during NBA season.
Not during the season.
That's
right.
for sure.
I agree with that.
All right, let's talk about Iran because there aren't too many of us. You and I get it. We've again had that conversation before. There are still too many people who plain don't understand who it is that we're dealing with. We're not dealing with the foreign minister who signed the agreement with us. We're not dealing with the elected president, whether he was fairly elected or otherwise. We're dealing with people who've built a road literally to nowhere to allow the return of the 12th Imam, the Mahdi.
Yep.
That's who we're dealing with.
Yep.
They've spent millions of dollars building this road. It literally goes nowhere, but it allows...
Well, it goes to the Jam Quran well.
Yeah,
which is where it goes to.
Which is where this guy
where he's supposed to come back.
Yes. And the way you bring him back is you create total chaos in the world if you believe their theology.
That's
Armageddon.
Correct.
That's who we're dealing with Iran. So the deal we did with the North Koreans in the 90s is very similar to the deal we've just done with Iran, in as much as they said, hey, this is all about nuclear energy, nothing to do with nuclear bombs. And of course now we know in North Korea exactly what it was about. It's the same thing with Iran, except it's way more dangerous.
It's way more. First off, we know that you can make the argument North Korea, which has no real resources, needed nuclear power, and so you can make the case. Well, maybe they really did want nuclear power. You have the one of the richest countries with oil and gas reserves that doesn't need any nuclear power, doesn't need any energy. They have plenty of energy to generate all the electricity they need from natural gas. And so you have a country that's only reason for developing this is to pursue a weapon. And that's why this has been such a charade from the very beginning. And the fact that we are not dismantling this, that we now have a report from the International Atomic Energy Agency that says that Iran is not opening up their facilities. We have no idea what the current state of their program is. And when that report was issued, the Obama administration said, well, we really didn't expect them. And by the way, this is really a non-binding agreement. That's what the State Department said. This is a non-binding agreement. So as tough as this sounds, we're going to have verification, all these things. The State Department says this is a non-binding agreement, and you already have Iran have violated this agreement twice. Number one, by not opening up their nuclear program for inspection, and number two, by setting off ballistic missiles in violation of the treaty. And we have done nothing. We've given them a pass. We have not imposed sanctions. And worse yet, as you know, Simon, last week they announced they were going to impose sanctions on Iran because of their ballistic missile program. And then when Iran's president said there would be repercussions and saber rattled, the Obama administration backed down.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much we are encouraging all the most radical elements of Iran to go pedal to the metal and develop this weapon as quickly as possible, because this president is not gonna walk away from this agreement no matter what they do.
And if you look at if we just get back to North Korea real fast, of course the immediate reaction was the UN saying, hey, Don't do that again. And if you do that again, we'll tell you
It's
not to
going to
do
be really,
that again.
really, really bad.
Yeah, we'll send a letter.
Yeah,
There'll be an actual letter next time.
That's right. We'll block satellite coverage of NBA games going into North Korea.
Quite unbelievable. We're in the middle of a conversation with Senator Rick Santorum. He wants to be our president. We're going to pause briefly and then continue that straight ahead here on News Radio 1040 WHO.